Raking garden leaves, an autumn chore that is familiar to every garden owner with large trees, and some people love it, but most people hate it. By the way, let me know in the comments, do you love it or do you hate it? And if you, one of these people who hate autumn leaves, trust me, after watching the next video, you're going to love them. And it's not just because garden leaves are one of the best sources for making compost. And it's not because useful garden insects are overwintering under fallen leaves, but because leaves are natural, free, and amazing material for DIY crafts. And in today's video, I'm going to show you a few of these easy crafts. And the first thing we are going to make is this moss ball. But you would be surprised that inside of this ball there are actually fallen leaves. So let's see how it's made. So to make this moss ball, you would need some leaves, of course, and a certain thread, and be sure that this thread is all natural, that it's not nylon, because when after the winter you obviously will throw this moss ball to the compost, the thread also should easily decompose. And also you would need some moss. And what I have to mention is, first of all, because we make this ball mostly of the fallen leaves, we don't need much moss. And I live in Finland. Our climate conditions are the way that the moss could be found literally everywhere. It becomes a garden weed, actually, and I'm picking it in my own garden from the places where it actually shouldn't grow. It grows in all shady areas. But if you live in a place where moss is much more rare, be careful if you decide to pick it in the nature. I personally recommend you not doing that. But if you do that, do not pick moss directly from the ground, because it will damage the ecosystem. So good places to pick moss from would be some rocks or fallen tree trunks. But nevertheless, I am recommending you to try to find the moss in your own garden, or to buy it from your local florist, because florists actually have moss for sale. And while I'm talking about being friendly to the nature, I must also mention this one more time. I already talked about this in the beginning of this video, and it is really important not to rake leaves from all areas in your garden. I usually rake them off the driveways, patios, and places like that, and I always leave them under trees, because it's the best shelter for useful insects to overwinter, and pests usually overwintering in the ground, but they're predators, the ones who prey on pests, are overwintering on the fallen leaves. So if you want to get rid of pests in your garden, be sure to leave some areas uncleaned. To make our balls, we should take some leaves and start making kind of a snowball from them, like that. And then you start weaving the thread around this ball, making it more like the shape of the ball. And while you're weaving that thread, you're adding more and more leaves to that. Keep adding leaves, and you can actually add in some larger bunches and keep weaving the thread around the ball. Keep doing it. Keep adding more fallen dry leaves to the ball and keep weaving the thread around it. Recommending to start small, not try to make the ball really huge, because if you never did that, probably you would need some practice. And in my case, I'm not going to make a really huge ball for this video, so I'm starting to add moss to this, and I'm using the same thread. Well, you can actually find some green thread if you like, but I really think that it's not necessary because the moss really absorbs the thread and you wouldn't see it anyway. So add the moss from all sides, trying to make to keep this nice ball shape. Add the moss to every side of the ball and keep weaving the thread around it like that. So you see, we have already a nice ball shape even with the moss, and the thread is not really visible on that. And I'm also going to add some conifer twigs, and this is a good alternative to the moss if you don't have much moss in the place where you live and you do not want to damage the nature. So adding some conifer twigs would be a good alternative. And for that you would need to cut them into some smaller parts. And to add it to the ball, giving it some good shape. And if you have some garden table, do it on the table because it would be easier then to do. try to keep this shape of the ball even when you are adding twigs, some conifer twigs. It is important that we have a ball and not some kind of a messy thing. And the thread is going to help us to do so. So we have this nice ball. I think it's ready, and all I need to do is to cut the thread with some scissors, and then I guess I would need to put my gloves off for that, just to weave it around another threads to anchor that, because otherwise your ball can break. So weave few times around already existing layers and put it somewhere inside. And you also can decorate it with some dry flowers and berries or whatever you like. So use your fantasy. And here you go. Our nice round moss ball is ready, and it's a stunning fall winter garden decoration made literally out of nothing. And I'm encouraging you to get creative with this and add whatever can be found in your garden right now, like maybe some berries, some dry grasses. Go into your garden and look for inspiration. Ready? But don't click off, because I'm going to show you a second DIY garden decoration that you can make with fallen leaves. Next thing we're going to do is this Christmas tree. So let's see how this one is made. And to make another garden decoration, we would need some small container that is also filled with fallen leaves. It's not a soil, it's just fallen leaves, and some garden stick. I'm sure you have one in your garden after growing season, especially if you have vegetable garden. So all we need to do is to stick it into the center so it stays upright. And the second thing, surprise, surprise, we would need some leaves, and if in the case of most bold, the quality of leaves didn't matter. In this case we need a more quality leaves, and the more colorful they are, the better. The next thing we are going to do is to stick leaves on the garden stick like that, sticking it closer to one edge. And at first we will pick some larger leaves and we'll be sticking them, placing them around the stick like that. When you start getting closer to the top, and by the way, at some point I cut off an excessive length of the stick because it was really long to my opinion. So when you're getting closer to the top, you should start sticking leaves through the center like that. So if you remember at the beginning we were sticking them closer to the bottom, and now we're sticking them right through the center. And choose a smaller sized leaf. Here we go, our Christmas tree is ready, and it would be really good if you can top it with some kind of an apple or whatever. I don't have apples anymore, so it will remain like this, or maybe later I will add some bow. So I hope you like this simple and funny DIY crafts made with fallen leaves, and you would never consider raking leaves a boring chore anymore. And if you find this video entertaining, please give me thumb up and consider subscribing, because I have lots of interesting videos on my channel related to gardening, garden to table recipes, and DIY garden decorations, of course. Thank you for watching this video, and see you again on my channel.